Hello again, welcome to lesson 4. Alright, now, lesson 4 is a very important lesson because we're going to learn 4 things. These 4 things are the 4 notes that you're going to use to read music for the rest of your life. Yeah? Rest of your life. Might be a long time, might be a short time. You don't know, so you've got to go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Alright, so we've got 4 notes, yeah? That's what we're going to learn today. All we're going to learn today is 4 notes. Crotchet, semi-breve, minim, quaver. We're going to learn those. So, let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start with a crotchet. Now, a crotchet looks like this. Okay, you've had a good look at a crotchet. It's a black circle with a stick. That's what it is, a black circle with a stick. Now, what does a crotchet mean? It means you hold a note down for 1 count. And we have a little song that we use to remember crotchets. Crotchets, they go 1, 1, 1, 1. So each time I clap, that's representative of a crotchet. If we were reading music, it would go crotchet, 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 crotchet every time I clap. And I want you to join in with me. I'm going to clap and sing this song together. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Crotchets, they go 1, 1, 1, 1. Crotchets, they go 1, 1. Your turn. Crotchets, they go. Crotchets, they go 1, 1, 1, 1. How long do crotchets go for? 1. You hold a crotchet down for 1. And what does it look like? Yep, that's right. It's a black circle with a stick. And this is our basic note that we learned from the very beginning. A crotchet goes for 1. If I was to play instead of clap that song, it would be crotchets, they go 1, 1, 1, 1. So in written music, the way that a note looks represents how long your finger holds it down for. That's what I want you to remember. That's all you got to remember. We'll get to reading music on the musical staff in the next lesson. But for now, we're just understanding when you see a note, what it means. It means how long your finger holds that note down for. And the first note we've learned is a crotchet, and it goes for 1. Crotchets, they go 1, 1, 1, 1. Now, our next note is a minim. Okay, a minim. Now, how does a minim look different to a crotchet? Describe a minim to me. Tell me about the minim. Yeah, hopefully you're telling me that it is a hollow circle with a stick. Very good. Now, a minim you hold down for 2. 2 beats is a minim. So our clapping song for a minim is minims, they go 1, 2, 1, 2. Because you'll notice I'm only clapping every 2 beats. So minims, they go 1, 2, 1, 2. Your turn joining. Minims, they go 1, 2, 1, 2. Minims, minims, they go 1, 2, 1, 2. 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 Crotchets, they go 1, 1, 1, 1. Crotchets, they go 1, 1, 1, 1. Minims, they go 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So we've learnt 2 notes. We've learnt a crotchet, black circle with a stick. We've learnt a minim, hollow circle with a stick. Crotchet goes for 1, minim goes for 2. We've got another note to learn. Looks like this. Yes, it's a semi-breve. It's a great big whole note because a semi-breve goes for 4. And when we do our clapping and singing game from a semi-breve, we make the shape with our hands. So it's going to go like this. Semi-breves go 1, 2, 3, 4. Semi-breathes go 1, 2, 3, 4. We're making that shape with our hands and we're counting for 4 in between our claps. If I was to play it on the piano. Semi-breathes go 1, 2, 3, 4. Semi-breathes go 1, 2, 3, 4. You hold it for 4. So, tell me, how long do you hold down a semi-breathe? 4. Very good. What does a semi-breathe look like? Yes, it's a big, hollow circle. Now, what's a minim look like? Yes, it's a hollow with a stick. What about, and how long do you hold down a minim? 2. What's our clapping and singing song for a minim? Minims, they go 1, 2, 1, 2. What about a crotchet? What does a crotchet look like? Describe it for me. Yes, it's a black circle with a stick. And you hold the crotchet down for how long? 1, 1, 1, 1, because crotchets, they go 1, 1, 1, 1. We've got one more note to learn. You're doing really well. Because after we learn this note, this will take you through so many songs. And before you would have looked at a sheet of music and been like, what on earth does that mean? Now you're going to have a really good idea. And after the next lesson, you're going to be able to like, oh, okay, well, I understand that language now. You've learned a new language. And yeah, like I mentioned in the previous lesson, this is fantastic brain exercise. This has got your brain firing in all these new different ways. And I run a dementia program where we go into nursing homes and teach music to old people. One of the things that sticks with people the longest who are struggling with Alzheimer's and dementia is music. They've learnt this when they're younger and they still have it in them. And it still activates them in really fantastic ways. You see them come to life. So look, I can't recommend this to you more as a brain exercise. It's a workout and you got to work out as well. You got to stay fit. You got to work out every day because, otherwise, no YOLO. YOLO? YOLO. Alright, I got distracted, so sorry. I'm not a preacher, I'm a music teacher. Okay, so we're learning quavers. We're learning quavers. It's our last note. We've learned a crotchet, we've learned a minim, we've learned a semi-breathe. Now I'm going to teach you how to read a quaver. What does a quaver look like? Looks like that. Pretty cool, right? Now it looks just like a crotchet, except it's got this nice little tail. It's a black circle with a stick and a tail. And what do two quavers linked together look like? They look like that. They're joined with this line at the top. Now, why would you have them joined with a line at the top? Well, quavers are twice as fast as a crotchet. So if a crotchet is 1 count, a quaver is a half count. So let's just remind ourselves of our crotchet song. Crotchets, they go 1, 1, 1, 1. If that's our timing for a crotchet, let's clap out the timing for a quaver. It's not 1, 1, 1, 1. It's a half count. It's twice as fast as that. It's quavers, they go bump-a-lump-bump. Quavers, they go rump-a-lump-bump. Quavers, they go rump-a-lump-bump. Crotchets, they go 1, 1, 1, 1. Quavers, they go rump-a-lump-bump. Quavers, they go rump-a-lump-bump. So we're not going to be using quavers for a long time. They are in some songs when you're starting, but just so you know, it's like maths. You have a quaver, you double it, you get a crotchet. You have a crotchet, you double it, you get a minim. You have a minim, you double it, you get a semi-breathe. So those 4 notes, you now know what they look like, and they're the basis for so many songs. Well, actually, there's not really any more. You can have some variations where you have a dot beside these notes. And if you have a dot beside a crotchet, a dotted crotchet, you add half that note's value to the note. So instead of playing a crotchet for 1, you play a dotted crotchet for 1.5. It's getting a little tricky, but just bear with me. If you have a dotted minim, a minim normally you hold down for 2, but a dotted minim you'll hold down for half of 2, plus the 2 is 3. So if you had a dotted semi-breathe, think about how long you normally hold down a semi-breve for 4 counts. You add half its value. So you hold down a dotted semi-breve for 6. We're getting a bit ahead of ourselves, but I just thought I'd throw that in. For now, all I want you to think is that a semi-breve goes for 4, a minim goes for 2, a crotchet goes for 1, and a quaver is a half beat that goes for a half count. So if you can remember that and remember the way they look, you've learned a lot for today. In the previous lesson, we learned how to add the harmony, the chords to the melody for Lean On Me, and you learned about the structure for finding a major triad compared to a minor triad. That's a lot to learn because this is only lesson 4, so you are flying along. Go over these things that we've learned. Semi-breve, crotchet, minim, quaver. You know how long they go for and what they look like. Good work. Let's get on to lesson 5.